Cascade Mountains. This is S-4! Sit back, relax, and keep your eyes to the skies.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to S-4, where we talk about the serious issues involving paranormal and current events, coming to you live from the S-4 headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains here in Washington State, in our studio in Cape Horn, Washington. So tonight, it is January 10th. My mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Kathy.
She doesn't listen to my show, but yeah, you know, whatever. But happy birthday anyway. We are starting our team alliance with FMP, and tonight is our first interview with NightStalkers Paranormal, run by our regular on the show, Barry Gaunt. So at this time, I will let him go ahead and introduce his team, what they are about, and then we will essentially start this off in a roundtable format where we can have each of them start in the paranormal and what their opinions are in the various aspects. Joe.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate it very much.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, NightStalkers, we've got we're a 6-member team, and we have 5 of our members here with us tonight. I'll start with the first member that is not here. His name is Steve Miller. He also runs another group called Evermore Paranormal. He's had that for 12 years, and he's worked with us for quite a long time. We call him the Tech Lord. He is our technical advisor, also a fantastic investigator, and he is working tonight, so he will not be with us. Our special weapon out of the group, Father Casey Shrugs, does all the demonology work, if you will. Helps advise the team, and is also a spiritual advisor sometimes for the team, most of the time. And he is here with us tonight, and he also attends the investigations and investigates with us. Then we have Tanya Fraser. She is our investigator, and also a empathic psychic that helps us on many cases and goes on all the investigations that she can possibly make, and helps us out in that way. And then Elvin Brazel is named, we nicknamed him Hound Dog. He is our researcher. He is a fantastic researcher. That's why we gave him the name Hound Dog. And he is also a wonderful investigator. And then, last but not least, Billy E.G.B. Sims, standing for the Epic Beard Dude. If you could see him, you'd understand why we call him that. And he is a fantastic investigator, spiritualist, does quite a lot of different things for the team, goes on all of our cleansings and so forth. And we're just lucky to have all these individuals. This team was built as a family. You know, we took our time looking for all this, and we've been very fortunate to have a very good team, and we do consider ourselves all family. So I think that takes it away there, Eric.
Excellent. So how long has NightStalkers been around?
NightStalkers started in 2011. I took NightStalkers over in 2011. And we have had some changes in members and so forth like that, but now we have the what we consider to be the core group.
Right.
Billy and Tanya joined about 2 years ago. Casey, same way. We meet these wonderful people, and they really fit in really well, and it helps us on our cases, and it becomes quite a wonderful thing. Now, they've all had prior experiences, many years of experience, and we've just stepped it up to that level.
Okay. And what is your general geographical area? You guys cover obviously Kentucky and Tennessee. Is there? Do you travel, or do you stay pretty much in Kentucky, Tennessee?
I'll let one of the other people go ahead and answer it. They like to talk once in a while. Casey travels all over the country, so we'll let him talk.
We talk to you almost every week, Barry.
Yeah, my cases are anywhere I get sent. It can be international if that needs to come up. But we have a lot of people that I can work with and coordinate with. But yeah, I go all over the country at any time.
Okay.
Good deal.
And
Melvin?
I'm awake. Yeah. Yeah, we got another place we like to go to in Indiana. Nice haunted little B&B in Attica, Indiana. It's called McDonald House.
Yeah,
and it's a very, very calm, serene haunting.
Those are the nice ones.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
I said those are the nice ones.
Oh yeah, they're all Casper there.
Going to clients' homes, you don't know what you're going to walk into. You walk into a place like Northern State, you walk into a place like McDonald House, where you know who's there and what they're about, then they're perfect for training.
Exactly.
Yeah, but what we like about it, it's a lot of history there.
Mm-hmm.
It was used as a hiding place for the runaway slaves from the Underground Railroad.
Oh, nice. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's you can tell you're talking to the researcher, can't you?
Oh yeah, no, that's great. That's great. So, what is your so since I've got you on the line, what is your favorite research technique?
Library, internet.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, and talking to people that live in the house, and go back and check the records. Who lived there before?
Mm-hmm.
Or see if they have any descendants that's still alive. Maybe it will tell you something. Old newspapers.
Okay. So, Billy.
Yes.
Do you like to travel, or do you stick pretty much to Kentucky, Tennessee?
We have traveled quite a bit. We haven't been out west yet. It's mostly in the central area that we're in. We've been to Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee. We have a few other places in the near future that we'll be adding. We've done a lot of the local, I guess you would call them marquee locations. But we prefer the road less travel, so to say.
Yeah, we're the load less traveled, and that's what you're talking about there, Billy. Is basically what residential cases,
businesses, things of that nature, places that most people haven't even heard of. But I like to go in places, and I like to actually talk to the client clients and see what's going on with them, and I pay attention to my surroundings. I'm looking at everything because a lot of times there's answers that's not being given that we can see and pick up on that stuff.
Absolutely.
So
you're the social guy.
I'm the what?
You're the social guy. You're the social guy when it comes to the client.
I like to get into their heads.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And Tanya, so are you an empath? Do you consider yourself psychic at all? What do you consider yourself?
Yes, I am empathic, and the psychic it comes when it comes. It's not anything I can make happen. It's just I'll see things or I'll know things, and I just kind of start asking questions and running with that if it happens.
So do you ever actually have spirits talk to you?
Yes.
Okay. So
it's usually in that cusp, right before you're going to sleep, right before you wake. It's usually in that vicinity.
She gets to see a lot of spirits, I will tell you that much, and she can't tell what's going on, and it's one of the fun things about it. We were talking about a case that we've got to go back and do some work to help the client out. And that is a case where we were both standing outside and we both watched a spirit walk right down the highway, the road. She helps guide us in a lot of ways because she gets that feeling and she has that intent with the client, especially because when we go in, she gets that up close and personal. They always like, especially the ladies of the house, always like to have the female there. Mm-hmm. And she really gets into her, Billy, and all the team does. Casey, everyone does. We're looking at everything in the house too, because one of the things that's fantastic is that as we're walking through the house, looking at the house, we're also looking at books and everything else to see what these people are actually into, Mm-hmm.
And we feed off of each other a lot, too, during an investigation, which helps out a lot.
So, on a normal caseload, how many clients do you guys see per month? Or do you rate it by month? Or do you go out on the weekends? What's your caseload look like?
You want me to take that, or you want someone else take it? Our caseload.
Are we talking pre-COVID, or are we talking?
Okay, so I'll say pre. I'll go with pre-COVID because I know everybody's slow with COVID for the most part, unless you can actually handle cases remotely, which some can.
I will tell you that a lot of them were for us. We've handled cases remotely. Mm-hmm. On a few occasions, we don't like to do that. We like to know more about what we're dealing with. But at a time when we need to help somebody out and we've got that ability to and we can, it worked out quite well for us with one case in outside of Ohio, a restaurant that was having some problems. But our caseload has been... at one point, we were out 40, out of 52-month week, we were out 48 times. I was out with the team and everything else 48 weeks out of that year. And we do Wednesdays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. We also do events. So we do quite a lot. We're out quite a lot. We work with a lot of different other teams. So we're not the kind of people that are just the Saturday and Sundays, but obviously it helps to do a case on a Saturday or a Friday night also, because you can get more of the team there. A lot of times we don't take the whole team with us, or we'll split the team up and we'll have one team and do a case in Tennessee if we have two at one time. One will do one case, or one will go do a pre, and we'll be doing something else while the other people are doing the other one.
Okay. Let's see, where are we at? So I want to focus on Casey for a little bit. Demonology. Where did you learn? Do you work with the Catholic Church? Do you do your own thing? Where are you at?
I am here in Tennessee, and I work with several churches and help out several different teams. Really, anybody that gets in some waters and they need some advice or some clergy help, that's where I come in. And I've helped many different denominations: Protestant, Baptist, Episcopal, Catholics. I was trained Catholic. I'm now with the Episcopal Missionary Church in Mont Eagle, Tennessee, the Diocese of the South. We have 2 exorcists, and I'm one of those guys. And I pretty much, after I get cleared from the bishop, I can go. I usually go wherever they send me, or in the cases that come up, most of mine are all residential, and go to the clients' homes wherever they may be for whatever they need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So did you learn anything from? Did you actually get? Where does your training come from?
I've trained under 3 excellent exorcists, and a lot of time in reading and study. The next step would be going to the Vatican for some of that training. I have people that have been that I've worked with, so get it by proxy, and I am working on a different project for them too. So it just takes a lot of study, and a dedication to it. There's not a day that I'm awake that I'm not studying.
So, in your opinion, and I can only speak for what our team did, and that was, again, I've said it on the show before, we had 2 actual demonic cases a year, out of 5 to 10 cases a day. That is a highly, highly low number, because there's plenty of malevolent entity types that are non-demonic. What, in your opinion, is the ratio of actual demonic cases versus what everyone says is a demon?
If you're talking about just the average teams out there, the number's real high for people who order TV shows.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
But if I had to go from what the church feels and knows, 80+% are non-demonic, and the other trail end will be actual cases that need clergy.
And I would have to go also with, from our experience, about 60% of our actual paranormal cases were psychiatric cases. There was nothing there for the most part.
The 2 are not mutually exclusive. The demonic can not only perpetrate the symptoms of a mental disorder, but they can also hide behind them.
Oh, and absolutely.
Cases where they're combined, where there is mental illness and a type of oppression or possession, those get complicated in muddy waters. So, yeah, I feel what you're saying.
So, let's see. What is your most memorable demonic case you've handled?
One of the most memorable, I would say, I've got 2 that come to mind right off. One had the worst infestation that I've seen, where animals were dying daily, more flies in the house than you could wrap your head around, and stuff moving on their own with scratches and bites on the clients. And the second one that comes to mind is the activity of the person, because in a demonic case, people think they're just like The Exorcist or like whatever they see in the movie. But people can function in their lives and be possessed, and you wouldn't know. And this person in the case I'm talking about was functioning in life, not very well at times when it would manifest through him, but when holy oil was applied, it immediately caused second-degree burns to come up. So those kind of manifestations really stick with you, and just people hurting. Each one of them is a person in a terrible time in their lives that they don't understand, and they're scared, and they don't know where to go for help. And it's just an honor to be able to go and pray for them.
And let's see. So, in your experience, what is a typical sign or symptom of any kind of demonic infestation? We won't go into the possession side. I think that's a lot more extreme. But for a basic infestation, what is your basic sign symptom that you look for?
Infestation in a home. Think about that suddenly things are not feeling right. The animals can act all shady and scared. Things in the house will start to go south. Things will break. Things will disappear and reappear. The phantom knockings, scratchings, the corner of the eye. Our eyes are made in a way where we see differently on the sides, what people call peripheral vision, and that's an actual form of vision that we see things differently, and you'll start catching things that exist in the corner of your eyes first, and then dark shadows or shadows can manifest in the front of the eyes. The personality starts to change. This is where the stage is set up to start shaking the person, start isolating them from the family, and cause the fear that will raise that energy, which feeds the dark energy, and it continues from there. And when it starts to isolate and gets that one person that's been tainted in it, that's where it'll go to the obsession phase, isolating them in particular and attacking them. Some infestations are written off as we as far as a team, we really look around. Like the scratchings that people hear can be a tree limb outside the house.
Right.
So you have to rule out everything first, be the ultimate skeptic, but be open in your heart to believe them because it's real to these people. So those are some of the signs of the infestations. Bugs dying, bugs coming around, foul stenches. The list is pretty long for that part, and the list goes shorter as you go up the trail.
Okay, so you pretty much answered my question, because a lot of the symptoms that you talk about, my questions mean no disrespect whatsoever. I just want to clarify some stuff, because when you're talking about things disappearing, when you're talking about things moving in the corner of your eye, can also be fey. So I wanted to know, basically, is there anything that's hands down going to be demonic? Because spirits can act the same, fey can act the same. When it comes to the animal activity, the animals being scared of a certain room, some of it can be fairy, some of it can be spirit. Is there any defining factor that rules it out as a demon? And
the church itself, I'm kind of eclectic. I have a lot of background in varying religions. The church itself would say they're all demonic. I don't believe that in the sense of what we're talking about here, because there are other things that exist.
Right.
Demonic in particular is about seduction, isolation, breaking down the person's will, and using them is another possibility. And this is a long-term game. People think that hauntings and stuff or demonic activity exist in just a short time, but they don't have time like we do. So a situation can be set up 5 years ago that manifests today.
Right.
But when they start the seduction and the entrapment part, because we all deal with sin. Let's say temptation and sin is our first line. And then as it goes deeper and deeper, it has to have a foothold to get into the life. And once it does, the thing that particularly makes it demonic is that there is no light there. That it starts to drain everything out. And I mean, the people that kind of work with it and make kind of pacts with it, sure, they can have success and some good times for a while, but that always comes at a huge price. And the goal has always been to steal the joy from the creator and kill a person and damn their soul.
So I want to clarify something too. You have all these paranormal teams, and I'm in several different paranormal groups just to monitor for people who need help, to monitor news that comes up, things of that nature. But there's always this, oh my God, you got 3 scratches. That's an automatic demon. And it kills me because, okay, you have a cat, you have a dog that sleeps in your bed. That can cause 3 scratches. You have a mate that sleeps with you that has long toenails. That can cause 3. What are you looking at Kayla for?
You remember in the 80s how people used to have the cocaine fingernail?
Right.
Yeah, she does that with one toenail, but she puts it to a point so it's like a freaking sword.
It's because he keeps stealing my blanket, so every time he does, I can just jab him with my toenail.
On the manifestations, on the physical manifestations of scratches, of words, of symbols, those things do happen in the demonic cases. Sure, if we're going back to the fake part, those are easily faked by a person. Oh, I scratched myself with something, with fingernails, had a partner do it. Yeah, that comes up. But when you see them actually manifest
in front of you, yeah, I get that.
That's an entirely different deal.
I get that.
It comes from the inside, it seems, in a lot of cases. That even though it physically manifests on the outside, there's a feeling of it coming from the inside.
Yeah, that's like when you see a sigil being, it almost seems like it raises up from the underneath the skin and comes right up to it, or any type of writing like that.
And here's what kills me, Barry, and you know this, but the ones that go, oh my God, that was 3 knocks. It's a demon. No. Yeah. It might be your damn neighbor.
Uber Eats.
Of the movies and shows has done a lot to put this back into the mental concept, and people are looking at everything, and a lot of it does come from attention. We've had cases, or I have, that have been completely unfounded based on it was the person's attention getting.
Yeah.
And so once you rule all that out, we're back down to the 20 or less % of cases. But they're growing exponentially globally. I did a paper last year, the year before, about the rise of not only exorcisms through all the churches, but the rise of mass possessions, the rise of darker, harder cases, and there has been a shift over the last 10 years of a huge rise, and not just in America where we have the TV and the popularity, but in third world countries where they don't have it.
And we've talked about this on the show a lot the last 5 years, but I think Paranormal TV was a
mistake.
No idea. It was great. It was great on one side. On the side that it exposed the paranormal, you've got a lot more people that are more open to the possibility that the paranormal exists. But on the other side,
no, they're not.
It kind of did.
No, let's not lie, because you know what? That's the thing. Everyone thinks they are. Like all these people think, they see war movies. I can do that.
I know, but
and then they get there and they're like, no, I can't do this.
I don't watch any of them, so they can all go to hell.
But you know what I mean? Like it's same with paranormal. They're good with it until they actually come up to something that actually exists.
Well, no, that's the teams that run out of the house.
Yeah.
Because then you got Billy, Joe, and Bob that decide we want to be Ghostbusters. And
I love
why'd you put Bill in there?
What?
And
of course.
Trying to get into the field, but some of the bad part is they go in and they stir it up, find the evidence, and then they kick the hornet's nest and have no way to rectify the situation. So
no, Casey,
like open wound.
They don't even find the evidence. They just go in and see a shadow moving, get terrified, and don't even tell the client anything. They just scream and run out of the house like little girls. And
that's the NightStalkers quality people.
Yeah, that wasn't PC.
That wasn't PC.
It wasn't.
I can say it.
It's okay. it irritates me because, you know, and Barry and I have talked about this a lot. How many cases have you had where they've actually had 3 or 4 different teams come in, and finally, we are the end-all. They have no idea what to do until they either get NightStalkers, a team like FMP, that'll actually come in and remove the problem. You have to get to the root of the problem, figure out what's going on, whether it's mundane or paranormal, and handle it, and then teach your client how to keep it from happening again. That's what you have to do. That is a paranormal team.
You are correct, sir.
100% correct, Eric. And you know, when you look at it, that's the biggest part. Some of the hardest part is when you deal with a client that doesn't listen to you, because 9 times out of 10, and I'm sorry to say this, but with me anymore, I'm kind of like going, look, we will gladly help you if you plan on helping yourself.
Right.
But if you do not want to help yourself and do the things that are needed to do, change some things in your life and do these things, then it is a waste of our time to go back and go back and go back.
Well, not only that, it's taken away from other people that need our help.
Exactly. 100% right, Billy.
Okay, so we've beat Casey up enough, so let's go to the rest of the team. So this is for all the rest of the questions are for all of you. And nothing against Casey whatsoever. If you have the training, if you have the know-how, then great. But what irritates the hell out of me is having been in this field for 30 years and seeing all these 11 billion people that come out and say, I'm a demonologist. What, you read a couple books? That doesn't make you a demonologist.
Yeah, they read one book, Angels and Demons.
Yeah.
Just a priest, and this happens to be part of the ministries that I do.
Right.
And I agree with you that there are fake priests out there. There are fake demonologists everywhere. I've had a case where a guy claimed to be a demonologist and some kind of priest and went and actually baptized a family, and I've had to now go back and fix the mess that he's done.
Right.
Yeah.
What?
We've actually been in that kind of little bit of an issue where I got an offer because my kids are not baptized yet. Unfortunately, our priest in our hometown wouldn't do it because my wife's not Catholic.
Right.
Yep. So we finally found one that would, but right before we did, one approached me and offered to baptize our kids. And then we found out he's not a Catholic priest.
I'm sorry that
That wasn't you. No, seriously,
I'm a pagan priest. Come on.
He advertised himself as a Catholic priest.
You see that?
And he wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
After being in this field for a while, I really think that impersonating a priest or acting in capacity should be considered just the same as impersonating a cop or a doctor, because it's a level that gets into the personal part of a family unit and can be very damaging.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, and you gain that level of trust with confession and everything as well.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable the damage you could do.
Mm-hmm. So I want to jump back down to Tanya. And so I've always been of a firm belief since the beginning that to have a valid, balanced team, you have to have some form of either an empath, a psychic. Because, in the years ago, it used to be, oh my God, psychics they don't belong in the paranormal field. It needs to be scientific based. Well, I'm sorry, playing with technology and playing with toys isn't science. It's playing with technology and toys. That's all it is. If you can't convince a spirit to do the same thing 3 different times with 3 different teams, that does not prove scientific anything. So we've always used a psychic, we've always used a medium, and I've always been very adamant that you have to have a balanced team with either an empath, a psychic, and tech to have a balanced team. So when did you discover you were an empath?
I've seen things all my life. So, I mean, when I was a kid at home, I was playing, and there was always a guy around, and he looked like a negative when I was a kid, and I only seen him from, like, I'd see the foot movement, and then by the time I got to his waist, he'd fade away. But I always consider him the ripped jeans guy, because he was, like, always around like a father figure, you know? And then as I got older, there would be knocks on the door, calling my name. Nobody was there. And things would just be taken from me, and I'd have to find them, and then they would appear back on my bed. I mean, it was just little things. But it's a family thing. My whole family has different things that they do. So, you know, they try to help guide me, but... You know, it's kind of hard too because we all do things differently.
Right.
It was just something we never talked about to anybody else. It was always kept quiet. So we only talked amongst the family about anything. And when I would see things and I would go and tell them, we would start watching the papers. And then within 2 weeks, it would pop up in the papers. So... And it was usually somebody that I knew or somebody that was close to somebody I knew. But I would never know who it was. So, it's just always been there.
Okay, so I'm writing another question down I just thought about. So, for the whole team, which area as a team is your favorite to focus on, whether it's the UFO side, the cryptid side, or hauntings? I hear you laughing, Barry.
Yes.
Yes.
We know where you stand, Barry.
You know, well, and I think most of the teams the same way. We do a lot of hauntings, but we like to do everything. We've seen different things, and we do different things when we're out with other teams and doing things in all of those aspects of those fields. And of course, you know my background.
Yep.
And I try to carry that background through the team. We all believe that they're all intertwined in some way, and so. We continue to grow in that area at all times. You know, it's just like everything. You start with most of the residential cases of the hospitals because we're trying to help individuals out. You know, and we are bleeding hearts. You know, when especially you know how it is when you have a case and there's a child involved. You are immediately going to put that as a priority. You know, once you decide that is happening, we've got that, and we do the same thing. We make those priorities. But at the same time, we also love to do the other things. You don't get, some of the team is involved with UFO studies. Some of them have a great interest in it. Some of them all of them, I believe, have witnessed and seen things. So we all do all of that above the Bigfoot stuff. The strange creatures come along, but they're not as big. What happens is when you're at a location, and as you know, there are certain places that all of them come into play. You know, so when you're sitting there, you're experiencing it all at the same time. Favorite for me is, I just love the paranormal. And I think that everybody in this team will say the same thing. So it doesn't matter what we're looking at, no matter what we're doing. It's just that rush you get when you are able to follow up on that stuff. But I'll let you ask all of them that.
Okay. So, Melvin.
Buddy.
your favorite aspect. You love the UFO side. You love, I guess, love is the wrong word, but which is the most enjoyable to you area to investigate? The UFOs and aliens. I'll include both of them because they both go hand in hand. The cryptid side or hauntings.
Or fairies and fae.
That's part of paranormal.
Hauntings and cryptids, because what we saw one night at Octagon Hall during the haunt, we saw a wood bugger, and I tell you what.
What's a wood bugger?
Bigfoot.
Oh, okay. I ain't never heard him call a wood bugger. And I had to say cryptids.
You never know what hound dog's going to come up with.
Well, I couldn't just say Bigfoot because we have Bigfoot here, but we don't have Dogman. You guys have Dogman there.
That's true.
So yeah, that's why I said cryptids in general. And I wouldn't call a rake a cryptid, but I know you guys got rakes there.
Yeah, we have so many different types of varieties of stuff, but it's funny. And like Melvin says, you're on an investigation, and we also do lead a lot of novice taunts at Octagon Hall, which allows people to get into the paranormal to be able to have an experience. And when we do those kind of hunts. You get the opportunity. We're outside. You get to hear, see, and witness quite a lot of different stuff. And when you see that kind of stuff, where you find tracks, where you find these kind of things, and we've seen so many. Melvin and I have gone out in the back several times and done quite a lot of hiking. Melvin is an avid hunter, great tracker, understands what's going on in the woods, and when you're back there and you see some of the things that we get to see, it really sparks you in a different way.
It makes you want your gun.
Yeah.
Just in case.
And that's the interesting thing. You hear all these different reports that Bigfoot really can't get killed. You hear one story that you've had hunters that have actually had Bigfoot in their sights, and once they get that face in their scope, they almost get a subliminal message that you don't want to shoot me.
Yes.
And I think it was yesterday or today that Mike Moore actually posted a story that a hunter actually shot and killed a Bigfoot. I haven't
seen that yet.
I haven't
seen that one.
I haven't followed up on it. I would think that would hit a lot more news if that was real.
Really? They said that aliens came down and the Pentagon had a ship and it hit one news station.
Yeah, but we all saw that on mainstream news. If they actually if they actually killed a Bigfoot, that would, I would think, be all over the place.
You would.
I don't think Bigfoot can be killed
unless he was a Trump voter.
That's true. We won't go. We ain't gonna go down that road tonight. I've been going down that road.
Let's just back it up.
Anyway, Casey. So I kind of have an idea of what your answer is probably going to be. But which side do you like best? The haunting, the UFO, or the cryptid?
I was an avid astronomy geek real young, but I didn't come in through the interest in paranormal. I've always walked a spiritual path, so I've lived with other cultures and taken in their mythology and their practices with religion. And to boil down, it would be the hauntings, the spiritual activity, and however that manifests. Because Bear's right that it can mimic and those lines aren't as defined between them.
I've got a question for you too, so I'll go ahead and ask you this now. What's your thoughts on aliens? It really irritates the living hell out of me. Aliens are demons, and according to some, everything's a demon. I don't believe that whatsoever. But I think aliens are aliens, demons are demons. What's your thoughts?
I think that the Vatican does spend an entirely lot of money for astronomy and has some of the best equipment in the world. I don't agree with the aliens are demons. I'm sure that they can appear like that to people to gain the necessary fear that they want. I think aliens probably do exist because of things I've seen that I cannot explain, and they are different than what the cultures, because when you look at demons, you have to take the culture base of where it's from. Some of the demons are gods from other earlier pagan cultures. The Native American culture has their versions of the Islam with their jinn. So looking at demons as a whole aspect, they all have difference but similarities, and all of those are different from the aliens that you're talking about.
Okay, I got you.
Except there's some aliens that are really nasty. It's just like anything, and that's what I think. And then, when you look at it, I think Casey would understand the same thing. And, there are good in the spiritual world. There are bad in the spiritual world. There is good in the alien world. There is bad in the alien world. You cannot have good without bad,
And I want to ask this too.
Balance.
So you talk about personality change being demonic, but, and I think you'd agree with me on this, Barry, in that when you get a spirit attachment or a malevolent entity attachment, you will get personality change. You will get pain, usually in the lower back or the upper back, wherever the attachment is, and that can also cause personality change. How do you differentiate that between a demon?
You want me to answer that? Or you want Casey to? Casey, you want to answer that?
How you'll start to see the person, anything can cause a personality change. You can have a bad day, fight with your wife, all of that stuff. But when you're starting to get into the person themselves being affected by demons, a demon can implant thoughts and memories. They'll start doing things that are completely out of character, like a person that would never smoke will want a cigarette. The personality changes become real raw. That's why the family dynamics change if there's a husband affected and the wife not.
So it's more extreme with demons versus a spirit attachment.
Oh, completely so, yes, sir. Yes,
gotcha. Okay.
A spirit attachment, we can go from even just activities that spirit had done in their lives. We're talking, we have to get it, which spirit is in there and what it is. But, yeah, an attachment will be way different than a demonic setting up on a person.
Okay. Cool.
And a lot of people pick up attachments or things from you see it a lot in the paranormal. They're not prepared to be able to deal with it, or they bring something jumps on them and they carry that around. And
or
you
bring
can just,
an object in the house.
Right. An object in the house or anything like that. And it does start to affect, and the activity goes and it starts to spike up and everything. And that's the hard part. So many people think that an attachment is a demonic, which it is so far wrong.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Again, like you said, a lot of your attachments, unfortunately, a lot of your attachments happen to paranormal teams who go into a haunted location unprotected. And yeah, they're going to get an attachment potentially. Others are clients that might bring in furniture that's got an attachment to it that attaches to them. Things of that nature. Usually something changes that brings on the attachment. It's not just an automatic thing.
Yeah, I want to tell you. I'll tell you about a case, and Casey, and I think we were all at this case, and it was quite interesting. This family was having a lot of difficulty, a lot of problems, and as we went through the house, we started going upstairs to the attic, and we started finding some things. And there were some interesting items in the house that started to actually get extremely high EMF spikes and so forth related to them. And we started pulling them out of the house, and Casey will take them and discard them or bring them to his house for his nice little display he has. But, so we're doing this, and there was a small rocking horse, and it continually had a very strong EMF to it. We brought it down, and we were going up for something else, and the owner of the house walked over and touched it. We had left a millimeter on top of it so that we can continually watch what was going on with that article. And the next thing I know, I look over and he has actually touched this article. And at that time, the millimeter went dead that was laying on top of the article. We quickly spun around and said, "Hey, did you just touch that?" And yes, he did. And at that time, we ran a millimeter across him, and it spiked to 21.0. And we spent the next hour. How long was it, folks? I think it was an hour and 20 minutes pulling that off of him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Working to pull it off of him. And that's some of the stuff that can happen. You've got to be very careful with what you're dealing with, and I take some of the responsibility for that, because we should have actually gotten away from the house fast, but there were so many different pieces of things that were reacting there, and when he touched it, oh my gosh, amazing thing to see, actually, to be truthful with you.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you've ever seen anything like that, but
it is validity.
Yes, it is. It is very much so. Very much so.
Okay, so Casey, in answer to the question, I can safely assume the haunting side is your favorite?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Billy, which is your favorite? The paranormal, the crypt, or the cryptid, the UFO, or the haunting?
My strength, I will say, is on the haunting side, but I am very drawn to all of the above. I have experienced all of the above. But like Casey, I'm a very spiritual person, and I find strength on the haunting side.
Okay. Well, I think it takes a balanced team again to cover all aspects, because you have too many teams that call themselves paranormal investigative teams, but in their definition, paranormal is only haunting. It's not UFO and alien. It's not cryptid. And then you have all the infighting between the UFO and alien people and the cryptid people that, we're not paranormal, we're cryptid. Or we're not paranormal, we're UFO alien. No, it's all the same.
It's all intertwined.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all connected.
It's all connected. And what's funny is that most of the teams, if they're doing their work, or they have, some teams don't even have a checklist or a questions list that they ask their people, have you seen this? Have you done this? Have you been associated with this? They just go in and start investigating.
Right.
And so many times when you're sitting there and you hear somebody that says, yeah, we did see something in the sky, and I might have had missing time, or I didn't, or I did have this experience, and then all of a sudden I started seeing shadow figures. And we all know that one of the biggest things with abductees, or any person that has anything to do with ufology or that's seen a UFO, that veil seems to lift, and they start experiencing orbs within their house, electronic problems, and also
shadow figures.
Shadow figures.
Yeah, when they start seeing the pattern, then you know you've got probably something going on, versus just something electronic that could be high EMF causing it, or electrical malfunction that needs an electrician, not a paranormal team. You have to look at everything going on, and orbs have always bothered me because you can look at most of the videos that are out there, and most of the orbs you see are dust, which you can tell. Or insects, which again you can tell. I think, absolutely, or even lens flare sometimes. So we're coming down to the end of the first hour. Tanya, did I get you? Which side do you follow the most? The haunting, the cryptid, or the UFO?
I'm more paranormal, but I did in all of them.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the next question, and we'll carry it on in the next hour. But how do you guys feel about the paranormal today? What can be improved in the field when it comes to investigation?
And we will come back to that after the break.
Yeah, all right.
All right, we'll be back right after this ad.
You are listening to S-4 on Spreaker.com.
S-4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
And welcome back to S-4 Paranormal Radio as we are interviewing the NightStalkers Paranormal Team tonight. It's a fun show. Always fun to interview other teams. Mm-hmm. Especially when they're valid teams, not, Zach Baggins and the other ones. Yeah, I said it.
Why you gotta rag on your best friend like that?
He's not my best friend. He's definitely not my best friend. We enemies of anything.
I'm not a paranormal investigator, but I play one on TV.
Right? And, I'm going to go touch Annabelle after I was told not to. Well, never mind, it wasn't really Annabelle. Yeah. Wait, I want to say, I don't know if you ever interacted with the Warrens at all, Casey, but I thought the Warrens were great in their time. I think they were probably one of the more valid demonologist investigators in their time, and I think The Conjuring, as much as it's an awesome movie, really shows old school investigation at its finest.
I got to agree with that. I didn't have the pleasure of working with them, but I have by proxy, I guess you could say, with
right. Yeah, I thought they were great. The only thing I didn't agree with them on was everything's not a demon, and that seemed to be their thing. But that was back in the 60s and 70s. So yeah, there's a lot to learn in the last 50 years.
Well, plus there was a lot of drugs back then.
Well, there was that too, but I don't see them being druggies, honestly. I don't.
I could have seen Ed doing it when he was younger.
Maybe.
Sitting there smoking a doobie, being like, "What's up, Ghosty?"
All right. So how do we feel about the paranormal field today, and what can be improved on when it comes to investigating?
I'm here with you guys a lot on Sundays. You know my opinions of it. So, Billy, go ahead and give your 2 cents of what you believe of paranormal today.
Don't I get a dinner beforehand?
Yeah, I believe.
I can give you
kiss.
One final spirit. Look, the way I see it is, I think as far as the paranormal goes on all aspects, hauntings, cryptids, UFO, there's two types of investigators, in my personal opinion. And number one is the experiencer. People that have experienced it, that's why they're into it. They want their answers, and they want to help others that have experienced the same thing. And then you get what I call your couch investigator. Mm-hmm. And thanks to television, that's cool. I want to do that. I want to become the most popular person on the internet, or yada yada. It for so many people, it's a popularity contest, and
that's the thing. Those are the ones that want to be the first one to find Bigfoot, or they want to be the first ones to have alien contact, or the first ones to prove ghosts really exist.
All right, guys.
Never mind, we all know ghosts exist.
On the uptake,
it's proven.
But you know what? What's really sad about that is if they were the first ones, they would shit themselves before they would be able to do it.
Absolutely. They do all the time.
I'm sorry to say that.
We do work a lot of cases, but we also do help out on a lot of events at some of the marquee locations. And it's always funny because you get these people that come in and they're gung-ho, and then they have that experience and they're running the opposite direction. And they come running towards me, and and they're telling me what happened, and I'm like, well, why are you coming this way? We got to go back that way. Why do I want to do that? I said, well, why are you here?
See, that's the thing. Cole and I, we don't run. I don't know. Cole might run.
No, Cole don't run.
Cole don't run.
Nope, not at all.
I don't run. If you see me running, you better run faster.
I don't run. If I see Bigfoot, I'll offer him a cup of coffee. I've seen spirits and malevolent entities. The closest I've been to Bigfoot was hearing Bigfoot knocks and having him knock back after I knocked at him. I've encountered 2 alien races. I've had 5 UFO sightings of my own. So, no.
Did the Bigfoot big knockers?
Huh?
Melvin.
That was Case.
You had me at knockers.
We've got Bigfoot in the mountain right behind our house. Mm-hmm. So.
Name Melvin?
No, his name's Daryl.
Daryl.
Yeah, everyone up here calls him Daryl. Daryl. Yeah. That was the new COVID name for him, was Daryl. Everybody upriver called, hey, have you guys seen Daryl? Bigfoot? No. Yeah.
He's very well spoken, too, isn't
he? He is.
Yeah.
He is.
Yes.
There was even a Daryl playing bagpipes. But, yeah, that was interesting. So, Billy, how do we fix the paranormal field?
Oh, man, that's a good question.
We're okay with you saying human sacrifice. Like that is an acceptable answer.
How about bait?
Bait.
Faith is important. Intentions, their intentions. They have to have the right intentions. And you know how we fix it is what we do. We help other teams as much as we can. And if we can get the opportunity, Casey has mentioned several times, we do a lot with other teams. Mm-hmm. It's not about NightStalkers. We don't, we don't have a control to say, oh, you can only be with us and you can only do that. Well, Casey helps other teams out. Right. Billy and Tanya help other teams out. I help other teams out. We all help other teams out together. We all do things together, and we also do things on a separate way because we're committed to trying to bring education to this field. We want to give if you have a problem and you have a question and you want to answer, well, we're going to give you the best answer that we can give you, and we'll help you if you can. Mm-hmm. That's how.
And one of the aspects, I think, on the paranormal today is it is infiltrated by so many teams, and even if they're well-meaning, they're not as studied as some long-term teams are. So they give bad advice or cause the problems to be worse. And that's part of why we do what we do in helping train young investigators and help teams figure out what they've got when they're up against a brick wall. So there's the worst thing is the bad advice, and the best part to fix it would be to the teams coming together and not such an ego-driven field to share with each other and talk to each other. Exactly. I'm doing a thing this coming year on those same lines for all clergy.
And I would absolutely agree. I thought, and you did peg it. I think ego has a big play in a lot of these ego-driven teams. But a lot of your ego-driven teams also, and Barry and I have talked about that before, that most of your fringe teams that have nothing but ego get bored within 2 years. Those are the teams that last about 2 years and they'll be gone. And I actually made it, Barry, through the entire Paranormal Society's website. And
did you really?
Yeah. And you guys are listed on it. I did find
I did find NightStalkers Paranormal. And it was your picture, so I knew it was you. It wasn't another team called NightStalkers. But again, 80% of those teams listed on, paranormal societies had dead websites, had dead Facebook pages. I didn't even try calling the phone number. I didn't have time. But, yeah, they were gone. 80% of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's strange. And, I've got another warning, and I'm sorry, I'll say it, and I'll take this as myself. When we're talking about the paranormal teams, the egos, and everything else, paranormal unity has gotten way out of hand. So these people that believe in paranormal unity have become more like minions following others, or to build Facebook hits or anything like that.
You took away one of my questions.
It's their niche to it. Paranormal unity should be everything. I mean, you don't have to mention paranormal unity all the time. You need to mention what's going on, sharing your information, sharing those type of things. But a lot of the paranormal unity things scare the heck out of me when people start saying
it's overused.
Unity.
It's overused.
It's terribly overused. And that's what's, I think that's another problem we have to deal with in the future.
So who we missed? I think, has everyone answered the question about what's wrong with the paranormal and how do you fix it?
I think so.
I think we covered that.
Yeah. I got a question. I got a question for you guys.
What?
Tanya didn't.
Huh?
I don't think we got Tanya.
Tanya?
Did you have any more input on that, Tanya?
No, I think we all just need to be able to voice our opinions and
shut up, woman.
Have we all could voice our opinions and have respect for one another's opinions. Like it used to be. Now everybody's like, it's all about them and not listening to other people and then reacting and then, somebody listening back and kind of grouping it all together and making, something better out of it.
Mm-hmm. We can all learn from each other.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and that's why, so I'm going to, this wasn't on my list, but the paranormal expert, that word kills me. That phrase kills me. There's no such thing as an expert in this field. Nobody's an expert. That's why FMP always used the word a paranormal specialist. Because a specialist can specialize in the UFO side or specialize in the Bigfoot side. But a specialist denotes that you're always learning. An expert, however, thinks they already know everything there is to know, and they show that in their advertisements. And I'm sorry, out of, I don't know, thousands of cases we've done, we were always learning, and we're still learning something new every time you do a case. The minute you stop, the minute you stop learning, the minute you stop increasing your education on this field, is the minute you're just a dead team.
Right, exactly. Right. When you think you know it all, you don't have anything. That's one of the problems with the younger teams. They come up with those theories, and we've talked about the theories, and they think, I've been in the paranormal for a year, and I've got this theory. And just,
years experience.
And with 1 year's experience, and then, hey, we've all had thousands of theories.
Right.
But man, you spent 30 years in it. I spent 43 years in it, and I learn something new every day. I see something that's off the charts, and I just go, what the heck was that?
Absolutely.
Because that's the paranormal. I mean, all fields of the paranormal.
And I'll say it again, any team that's under 5 years old is a newbie.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
5 years old. And why is that? Because most of your 5-year teams and under have done maybe 1 or 2 cases a month because they're weekend warriors. And that's all they do. And all they do is go to Waverly Hills and all the other famous hot spots to prove there's ghosts. I'm sorry, but the minute you call it a haunted location, it's already been proven it's haunted. So why are you going to prove there's ghosts when it's already been proven haunted?
Such an excellent point. I think we had that discussion last night, didn't we?
Absolutely, we have that discussion all the time, and that's why I love going to places like Northern State and Fort Casey here locally. I love going to those places because you can take your newbies there, you can show them how the EMF works, how to do an EVP, and you're probably going to get something. You might not, because spirits are they show up when they want to.
Right.
So you may or may not get something.
Everywhere.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're not just at those locations. They are everywhere.
Absolutely. And that's what kills me. So that goes right into my next question, because it actually came up in another paranormal group. Do you see a difference between a day and night investigation? Do you think spirits are only around at night?
That's no, they're only come out at midnight or 3 a.m. during
3 a.m. Yep.
Which is really
depending
funny
on your time zone. Depending on your time zone. Yeah.
The witching hour was midnight, and now it's 3 a.m.
When did that change?
Decides to say that, but
it never changed.
It did.
No, man.
We all know.
There's a predisposition for fear and darkness. So the clients and the people that go to get scared, they already come in with that notion of heightened anxiety from darkness and the unknown. And that's just how our brain works. As far as cases and stuff, anytime, day or night, in my experience. They can ramp up during certain events like thunderstorms, after mass disasters, the moon phases also, yes, I would say yes. And it's more physicality than it is spiritual. There are spiritual risings during that time.
Most of us know the reason that we investigate at night mostly is because of it's less traffic, less contamination.
Yep.
But if it's haunted 24/7.
Absolutely. And I'd fully agree. The best time to investigate a client's home is indeed at night, because less contamination, your equipment is quieter. That goes along with the less contamination, but it's a quieter environment. Your EVPs aren't going to pick up outside influence from your daytime activities. But, I'd say about 99% of our cases we did during the daytime. And we cleared we cleared houses during the daytime. You don't... and it doesn't take 8 hours of video and 8 hours of EVP. We've actually gone into... I think our fastest record was 20 minutes. Where we actually went into a client's house, identified the problem, cleared it, and it was done. And then the closing team actually went in and did their work, which was the education side. But 20 minutes. It doesn't take 8 hours of video evidence and 12 hours of EVP. It doesn't take that long. If you're only after evidence collection, sure. But if you want to spend another 48 hours of reviewing your evidence, then so be it.
There are certain times that a client will say, this happens at this time. This happens at this time. We can get a lot of information just by going into a house during the day and doing a pre-investigation. We do pre-investigations because we don't want to go in anywhere without having an idea of what actually is going on. We have been misled by other teams, everything else. They say, this is what's happening and we need your help here. Right. And we go in and we find that it is totally different than what they have said. Mm-hmm. It is a great difference. But, what we do is dangerous. That's why we do a pre-investigation, because you can go and do some EVP work, you can walk around, you look at the area, and you already have an idea of what may be there and what you may get from those. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of times we may go back 2 or 3 times. We want to make sure that we know exactly what we're dealing with. That's why we continue our investigation or go back, because we want to make sure of what's the real source of the problem. Because as you know, there are all kinds of different entities. It could be at a home. Grandma could be there. Well, grandma's not going to be the problem.
Nope.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Grandma's there to protect the family from whatever else is going on.
Right, and we don't want any big grandma.
Right. You know, nope. And those are the things that you definitely look at, you know, and deal with. And that's the biggest thing. It's like Billy's famous line, we just don't go and smoke up a place, you know, mm-hmm. and go, hallelujah, it's done, because that don't do crap. I mean, absolutely. I don't know why so many people have decided that sage is great. It has its purposes. It has its purposes, but, you know, we do sage, but we add different stuff to the sage. We use different types of sage. We do all that kind of stuff, because you can feed a spirit. You know, some spirits like certain things. Mm-hmm. You know, and you're not driving anything out there going, great, that's awesome. Can I have some more?
I like that smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So what do you guys do to prepare yourself to go? Do you ground? Do you shield? Do you use protection rocks? Like, what do you personally do?
We eat chili and Mexican, and we may, you know, we get good and gassed up, because last resort is nothing better than the clear house via human gas.
There we go, smoking up the place.
Yeah.
No, we do all of the above. You know, we ground ourselves. We go through prayer. We all find what brings us strength, and we go that way. And thankfully, it works.
So I'm going to add to that question. What do you guys see as dangers, which so many people don't get? Whether it is cryptid, whether it is Paranormal TV, really ruined that, because none of them ever talked about the dangers of the paranormal. None of them have ever talked about what you should do to prepare before you investigate. You know, and you look at the cryptid side. So you got the mountain monsters, for example. I've used this example before, but you've got this guy that's in khaki shorts and a bottle of water and a camera, and he's up. Oh, look, I heard a noise. And, well, you know what? You got all these other people going, wow, that looks fun. So they grab khaki shorts and a bottle of water, and they go up by themselves. Is there any kind of wilderness survival training? Is there any kind of medical training? Is there any kind of, you know, preemptive training that they're encouraged to do before they go up in the wilderness looking for Bigfoot? No, there's not.
No, and there should be, because when you are out there, there are certain rules of the woods. But most of the people who are about this, it's like talking with Melba and myself and anything else. We've been in the woods most of our whole lives. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't sit at home and in New York City and then all of a sudden decide that you're going to go to West Virginia and walk around for a while, because you're going to be a missing person.
Because you think you can talk.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you going to do? Go out there and have tea time? I mean,
right. You know, it's very different, and you do need to know what happens to you if you do have it. I mean, it's just like going when in the truck. You know, we've got bug spray, we've got bandages, we've got a medical kit, we've got evidence kits.
Right.
You know, got stuff to be able to do castings. We've got all that stuff, you know. I carry that with me, and I always carry a roll of toilet paper. You never know.
That's a hot commodity, man.
And that's what they're going to steal.
In the investigations going out is the actual them getting possessed themselves. Adam Bly is a consult for the Catholic Church, and his numbers are 8 out of 10. We're back to that number. Investigators need aftercare. All these guys you see on TV, the teams usually get scared off and go home.
Yeah.
The people that work in it and are around it, his number is 8 out of 10 of those need counseling and care after from the effects of what they've walked into. And it can be anything from a disturbance in their minds to on possession to death. I mean, there's no every time a person goes into a residential, it's not so much with these haunted places. Those are you can have accidents there, but if you go into a residential case or a case through the church, then we know and understand going in, it's like going in, it's spiritual war, and death is one of those possibilities for the client or anyone that's involved around.
Yeah. Well, and you know, there's a lot more dangers than just paranormal. When you're walking into a client's home, there might be black mold. There might be, some asbestos. There could be, weak floors causing knocking on the pipes that you might fall through. There's domestic violence that could be initiating level of entities. There could be a whole area that you have to look at before you just walk into someone's home that you need to do a background on. And that's why I think also carbon monoxide meters are important. Decibel meters are important. There's a whole array of equipment besides the paranormal that would come in handy with a lot of these cases.
A mental illness in the person, which would focus on the investigator, especially, and that goes back to the bad advice part that we talked about earlier.
Right.
That these teams walk in, or I've seen deliverance ministers do it, where they say, "Oh, you got a demon," which the person may have had a mental illness they did not admit to, and that further triggers their own mental illness, and they can go crazy from zero to crazy.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. And you can be in a house and some people do break out of their own way and get violent or do something that's bizarre during the time that you're in it also. I mean, that's the worst thing. You never know what you're entering. And especially when you start going out in the woods and you're in, especially in Kentucky, I mean, you've got areas that open up, you've got pits, you've got stuff like that. I mean, I was outside limping around. I'd been injured. I was outside and I fell and I ended up in a briar bush, stuck in a briar bush, and I thought I was like a pincushion.
Right. And one of the things our team, I always told them, we're not going to carry firearms into a client's home, but firearms will be taken if we go in the mountains. Because you got bears, you got cougars, I'm not even worried about Bigfoot. I'm worried about the mundane, the wilderness animals that you might encounter. That could be a threat.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bear down on it or shoot a Bigfoot or some of the other dogmen like that.
Yeah, well, I think
other times weapons don't do anything. What the weapon is just like you said, it's the protection from a cougar. We have cougar walking on our property sometimes.
Right.
So when you're out there, they get in the trees, they get everywhere. You got to know you got to keep your eye around yourself at all times. What's going on around you. And, most people get out there, they're like talking and but you gotta settle down. And the other thing about it is you just can't go running toward it. You've got to think about where you're going, and what's doing it. And we had a discussion last night about chasing around. We were talking about how we like to just get into an area and sit and let these spirits come to us, because they will come to you. I mean, you don't have to chase them around the house. Yeah, it's fun to play paranormal tag with them with a K2 meter and some stuff like that. But at the same time, if you just sit and you listen and you absorb yourself into the house, I was on a case a week ago Friday. I'm in the house and actually heard a person say, "Get out there and throw something at him," and then something flies off of the top of the refrigerator and nails my butt. A bottle of hand lotion, and pretty odd, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, and this is my big thing because I do research. I'm a research person. So the big thing for me is also if you're going into a cave system or if you're going into anything like that, first of all, know how to actually act in there, know what kind of climbing equipment you need, everything like that, but also know if it's stable enough to go in. Everything about it. You want to know everything about that. What kind of minerals are in there, everything, before you just go randomly jotting down into a cave. We've
got mercury mines up here. Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't want to go walking into a mercury mine.
Absolutely.
I'm already in there. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But, there's areas that we would like to go into. Unfortunately, with me, and me being older and everything else, I don't do the stuff that I used to do. But you got to have somebody smaller on your team. And,
wonder who that is.
Why don't you go down there and wrap a rope around and shove down a hole and go, "How's it look down there, Billy?"
Yeah, right now it's me. Oh. Mm-hmm. All right, so I think we covered night and day investigations. Where do you feel the best education for a team or an individual comes from? And does your team train? And what do you guys trade on?
It's funny. Anymore, I guess we don't train. Do you consider ourselves, do we do any training? I think we all listen to each other. We are always talking about certain cases, everything else. We all speak very openly with each other because we are like a family. Mm-hmm. So we always have that opportunity to talk, and we're always looking at new ways to do things and see other types of things, trying to make it more scientific or something like that. The training part, I think, is basically for the new group, for newer members or anything like that.
Research stuff, try different things.
Right. But the thing that is big about it is when you talk about the UFO stuff and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. If you're in a crash landing or if you're picking up evidence and you're doing that kind of stuff, then you need to have training on how to be able to do that and how to do it. And we do it a lot as far as with some of the investigators that I deal with the UFO thing, since I'm the state director of MUFON. That we take them out and show them how to do grid work, show them how to take evidence, show them how to do all that kind of stuff. And same thing here, when you run across that, everybody gets the opportunity to be able to see it.
It's more of a hands-on training kind of thing as it comes.
Boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all boots on the ground. It's knowing how to kick the dirt and how to smell pick it up and smell it and figure out what's going on. So, yeah, that's it. No, you
pay
smell
attention to the tracks before you run over them.
Yeah,
right.
Another thing that a team really has to have in order for it to click right is, like with us, most of the time we know what each other is getting ready to say or do before it's presented.
And we listen to each other.
Right, and it's also kind of like, and I hate to say this, but I mean, we are a team that has been together somewhere else. I think we all have a relationship in a past life together. We all know what we do know what we're going to do. We do know what we're going to say. We do follow each other very, very well. It's not one of those things. And there's nothing better than when you're sitting there and you say, "Well, why don't we let's do this?" And Father Casey spouts off, "You're not the boss of me."
As far as your training goes, question I told you earlier, I read every day. I've got a treatise on demonology from 1878 on my desk now. I continue to study because that's how you develop yourself, your character. And I also teach one class, and some of the best experience people can get in learning would be from people that have actually been through it. That's why I have many priests that confide in me, and I can confide in them, and we can learn from each other's experiences out there. Which brings me to the teaching part. I've got a class I do for a few people, and this coming up year I'll be traveling to a lot of the older exorcists that didn't keep as good notes as they should, and getting their stories to send the packet to the Vatican for their training school. And I have been blessed to have also people on the other side that have been possessed, so I can have both sides of the story to help continue to train people, because just like we were saying earlier, you always got to learn. You always got to take in the new information and throw away the stuff that didn't work.
Yes, exactly. And I think you'll find all of us, there's times when we get a little bit of a break when we go to a location, or especially when we're traveling, and we may go into a library to do some research, or a city hall or something, and you'll find some used books for sale. And we are always buying books, and we are always looking at it. And I love the old history books. If I can find old history books about Kentucky back in the 1800s and all, and Tennessee and all that, those are the ones that have the stuff about Joe found a giant on his property and this and that, and those are the ones that we we research, and we all do our own researching, whether it be whatever form of media, reading, shows, and doing a radio show helps out a lot. You mentioned The Conjuring, and back before Billy was a co-host, I had Melvin on as the co-host. We had Andrea Perrin, who was the actual person that was involved with The Conjuring. It was her family.
Daughter.
Yes.
Yes, she's the oldest daughter.
Yeah. And what a great thing, and what you learn, the difference between that and the the movie and the real deal. But it stays pretty true. It is a great movie, and it is a good thing. Some of the wonderful things you get to see about the old style investigators and everything else, and that's one of the things we also are missing. More boots on the ground. We talk about boots on the ground quite a lot, and I don't think a lot of people understand what boots on the ground is. So, any of you guys on the other side or our side want to talk about what boots on the ground is?
Take your
Well, there's it.
It doesn't open.
So boots on the ground to me, because obviously up until 2 years ago, FMP was pretty much about 90% of our cases were astral. So we were a global team, in that we had cases in Egypt, India, Australia, UK, anywhere in the world our team went, which is why we handled 5 to 10 cases a day.
Right.
when it came to boots on ground, which is what we are going solely now, because I'm not even dealing with astral. I'm not dealing with. I'm not. I'm scaling down to a smaller team, because when you're dealing with 20 different personalities, you have a whole lot of chaos and drama. So we are going to a very smaller scale team that will only be doing boots on ground. So boots on ground, you have the Smiths that are having knocks on their wall. They're having shadows. They hear whispers. And we will go in with tech. We will go in with our own psychic. And we will evaluate what's going on. When it comes to cryptids, Bigfoot, we will go up in the mountains. We'll set up a expeditionary camp. We will stay up there. We'll set up game cams. We will set up a gifting site. We will evaluate the environment. We will have drones up in the air. I like drones for two reasons. One, if you have FLIR and thermal, you can actually potentially pick up a Bigfoot. The other aspect I like with drones is you have eyes in the sky. So you have security. I'm big on security.
Security when it comes is important, especially in certain places.
Absolutely, especially with the paranormal. You don't want to be the next missing 411. The other boots on ground I see is having a sky watch in the backyard, or if you have again the Joneses call down the street saying, "Hey, I see a weird light in the sky, and it's moving erratically, and it's got different sparkly lights." You jump in the truck, you roll out to that location, you see what's going on. That, to me, is boots on the ground.
And that is exactly what it is. It's not armchair stuff, sitting and banging at home. It's actually going out and, like we said, kicking up the dirt, picking it up, getting it in your hands. And, same thing when we do a home. Boots on the ground people, they will open up the bottom of the house, go up underneath there, look and see. We want to look at everything we can, and if we can get into the attic, we want to get into the attic. We want to see everything that could possibly do that. When we go in and we do our pre-investigations, and we're hitting all of the areas. That's another point that people don't do, and you've got to do so much of it and look at certain things that may be causing it. And EMF, and I'm reminded a bit by this because we had a person talking about it last night, and I'll let Billy talk about it. There was a case that we were at, and this lady had an old clock radio. So, Billy, take it away from there.
Actually, it was the lady's mother. She and Father Casey was here for this investigation as well.
Great cheese dip.
Yeah.
Guys know those old brown digital alarm clock radios. They're notorious for giving off high EMF. So she had one laying right beside her bed, and every night she's seeing things, having nightmares, sleep paralysis, and of course, we go in. The first thing we're going to do is try to eliminate any possible cause that is explainable. And we found that right off the get-go.
Isn't it like 300?
It was pegged. The millimeter was pegged. Straight bar all the way across.
Yeah, movie clock.
His son was also having the same issue downstairs, and I got to looking at it, and his bed is like right next to the breaker box.
Okay.
So those things like that.
Yep.
Those are the things that you walk in and you go, okay, do me a favor, move this away. If you're going to sleep here, take this away. Don't put the box fan, heaters, additional heaters, fans, all those stuff that people put on their bed. All cause that.
And,
aftercare is very important to me and the family we're talking about. Everything's just fine still this much later.
Yes. And that's the other thing. A lot of teams don't do anything about aftercare.
No, they're done.
Right. And one of the biggest things when you're dealing with abductions or, in essence, some of the other, anything in the paranormal, is the aftercare, knowing that those people have the ability to pick up the phone. You call them and check on them and see how things are going, what's going on, are you having any more problems. It's just not the Saturday night deal. We're going out there, hunt some ghosts, and then you leave the people hanging and everything else. So, a lot of times, and I'll be truthful with you, sometimes there are those cases that we do and we get slammed with other things that we're doing. So it may take a week, 2 weeks, or they've got things that are going on in their lives, or COVID comes in, and it takes a longer time to be able to rectify the problem. So you have them with you more than longer than you would like. Sometimes it takes up time.
Well, I think it's important for all clients to know they have an open door for life with that team that came in and cleared their house. Because you might pass over one spirit that was causing the issues, but that doesn't mean they go out and buy new furniture. That doesn't mean that life happens and a new spirit or a new malevolent entity comes back into the home. You don't know. So having that open door of communication, knowing the client, making sure the client knows that you can call us whenever, and we'll come back in.
That's exactly how I work, and I try to make the client feel like you were talking about earlier, Billy being sociable and Tanya and Bear, that making the client feel comfortable with you.
Right.
That way, for me, especially in clergy, because they get a preconceived version of clergy, that afterwards it's not calling the people that did something, but they're calling somebody that now they can feel like is a friend, a confidant, and they can reach out with these stories. And the more you solidify that kind of relationship with them, the more open they will become with all the aspects that you need to know. And aftercare, you're exactly right. I still have people years later calling me up, but not problematic stuff. Just hey, case, thanks, how's things going?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And we also we've had clients that we've had to help. There are certain times of the year that something activity might pick up for them, but with that season, as the season changes, so does the activity.
Right. Right.
If they're not feeling harmed or in danger or anything like that, if we can get them into that frame of mind, it helps them out a whole lot.
And that's go ahead.
And there's some people that have like empathic abilities and they don't want to acknowledge it.
Right.
And they are like a beacon and they're drawn to them and they don't understand that. And we try to help them understand what's going on and why it's going on and try to help them come to terms with it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because
understand it more.
Once you find out have any kind of a psychic ability or they're an empath, that's an open door for many spirits to come in and communicate. And if they don't know what their abilities are and don't know how to close that door and open it when they want, whether it's through grounding or shielding or other means, then they're going to be a constant client because they don't know what's going on.
Right, and that we try to help them understand that and what it is, and that it's not a bad thing,
Right, absolutely.
And be there to talk to them when they have something come up.
And our phones are always open to them 24/7. They know that they can reach out to us at any time. And once a client, it's always an open door to them.
So they're more like family. I've actually.
Some of them will say could be a estranged family. Okay?
Well, I've noticed that over the. I've noticed that over the years. That once you've actually gone and brought them peace, they do become family. And So the FMP group has 12,700 people in the group, and about 60% of them are actually former clients. They didn't leave. And, you know, and I haven't in a couple of years, because once we shut the team down, they stopped talking, and that's fine. But, you know, for a long time, I would get a random private message that everything's still going great. Thank you for everything you guys did. And I think what frustrated me, too, is the fact that we advertised as a paranormal emergency response team. You had a lot of people that needed help, but they wouldn't contact us because they thought, well, it's not an emergency. I shouldn't bug them. But so you had to change your promoting your wording that we aren't just emergency response. If you're having any kind of issue, contact us. You know, whether you're getting that bump in the night or you got things disappearing and reappearing, you know, that's not, might not be an emergency now, but you want to catch it before it escalates if it does, if there's a possibility of it.
Oh yeah, I'd rather walk into a case that may be happening, and I'm sure everyone on this team would say the same thing. Hate to walk into the ones that they've said, oh, this has been going on for 3 years, or they tried to be friendly with it, they want to talk to it, and they want to do other things to it, and then we've got to come in and go, no. No, we're not going to, you know, you can't do that, you can't do this, and then, but you explain to them why and the things that happen. But it's a lot easier to catch it when it's early and be able to handle the problem and be able to give the advice and the things that are happening. Unfortunately, we do get a lot of those cases that are come from another team or something else, and that's when we are actually going in more blind, because we do have to look at everything that we have. You know?
Don't you just go ahead?
They saw it on TV and they decided to investigate their own home.
Yeah. And don't you hate being the one to clean up another team's mess?
Yes.
Yes, but we do it a lot.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
I just that just aggravates me, because you know, when people call in a self-proclaimed paranormal team, they expect that problem to go away. They expect their home to be their home again. They don't expect you just to walk in with a camera and an EVP and say, "Yep, you got a problem. Have a nice life,"
Right.
Which is about 90%. It's about 90% of them.
Right.
And again, like I said earlier in the show, you got the other ones that, oh my God, it's real. It's not just on TV. It's real. And they run out the door. And the client never hears from them again. Well, now you've done two things. You've verified to the client that, yes, there is something going on. It is paranormal, because you just scared the hell out of a team that says they're paranormal. And now you've pissed off whatever is there even more. So now it's going to escalate.
Another thing is you got the teams out there that are already going in with the wrong intent, because they're going to charge $400 to do, you know, an investigation, and they tell you after the end, you know, well, they said they would come back in 2 weeks to do a cleansing, but that would be an additional $250 or whatever. And right off the get-go, if they're telling you there's going to be a fee, they've already got the wrong intent. And,
well, and that's what I tell people all the time is anytime money is brought up, you just hang up the phone or you walk away, because there's teams out here that do this for free. And, you know, I think it was a couple weeks ago we were talking on the show with Barry, actually, about the woman that she's having a problem with her kids. And this woman comments, "Oh my God, you've got a demon. You need to call in a demonologist, and that's going to cost a lot of money." And I'm like, seriously? Oh, no. So I actually did comment and said, look, if your case is not cleared by Monday, and this is like a Friday night, I told her, if your case is not cleared by Monday, do not call in any team that charges money because you shouldn't be paying a cent.
Right.
And we'll make sure it gets handled. But I never heard anything back, so I'm assuming that it got handled. It's not my group, so whatever. She had access to reach out if she needed to. But no,
it really makes me sad too when somebody reaches out to us and the first thing that they say is, even before they introduce themselves, the first thing they say is, "How much do you charge?"
Yeah.
No, you know what? The first question I get is, or the first comment I usually get is, "You're gonna think I'm crazy." Yeah, that's usually the first comment.
Oh yeah.
And my response every time is, "Probably not." No.
Yeah.
No. If you're experiencing paranormal, that's not crazy. And then, usually about the middle of the conversation is, how much do you guys charge? I'm like, really? It's really sad you even have to ask that question because any paranormal team that's valid is not going to charge.
For some of them, it's crazy.
Huh?
We've had a few crazy ones, but it's not
okay.
You talking about me again?
Oh. So, we can get one answer before we have to go to the last break, but what is your favorite tech?
Damn it.
What? Was that your question?
Yeah.
Oh.
Billy, take it away, man. We talked about this last night.
I know your tech guy is gone, but I want to hear from all of you. What's your favorite technology? Whether it's EMF, Spirit Box.
Yeah, I would say voice recorder.
Do you have a favorite?
My favorite tool is my body.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the things we want to be able, when we go into a home, there's all different kinds of techs, and you can use all kinds of it. It's like going fishing, you have different lures, you have different things. But in certain places, you don't need all that.
No,
what you just need is your own feelings, being in touch with that, and also having a recorder to be able to hear an EVP, because if you don't, and they are speaking to you, well, what the heck, And we're a lot of times we're old school. But, we've got the other stuff to go with it. I like, we take the Mel with us or something that can be able to identify EMF. Those are the things that you need, and you want to have a camera with you. You don't have to do 8 hours of video.
No.
I think we have 3 8-channel video cams, and we were talking about just going to, maybe 1 or 2. We don't run them all the time. We used to. You ran them. They're terrible to be able to get to review everything else. You can do small burst sessions on EVPs. And still get plenty of evidence, but sometimes we always will leave a recorder running most of the time, because you never know when paranormal activity is going to happen.
Right.
And if you catch it and they talk to you or they say something to you, then that's where we'll spend most of our time reviewing the EVPs and the stuff that they're talking and saying directly to us.
Nice.
All right, and on that, we are going to go to our next break. So we will come back to this right after. We'll see you guys in about 3 minutes.
All right.
Sounds good.
You're listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
You break, you're going down.
Third, Cooper.
And welcome back to S4 as we come into the last hour with NightStalkers Paranormal Radio, Paranormal tonight. So I got to throw a funny story in here real quick. So the kids, we're homeschooling our kids because of COVID, and actually we're finding that they're doing better homeschooling anyway. But they're doing every once in a while there's a what's this company called Outschooling, I think, and they get to watch live classroom, and they love it because they get to interact with other kids. It's a Zoom meeting. Well, they look at the list of topics that they can pick from, and one of the topics was haunted items. And they both got excited. Like, oh, haunted items, cool. But the age was like, you had to be 11 years old. Well, Anthony's 8, going on 9 this month, and he was disappointed. So Izzy emailed the teacher and said, look, their daddy's a paranormal investigator. They know all about haunted items, and Anthony's 9 and wants to go to this class. And the teacher said, oh my God, really? Great, bring him in. Like, so they get to take a class on haunted items tomorrow.
You're going to get there, and the teacher's going to be Zach Baggins.
No. You know what? They can watch it. Or they're going to have Annabelle, fake Annabelle. You know what? The one that needs to be teaching is Ross Allison.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like Ross.
He's the one that needs to be teaching that class.
Yeah.
On the other side of that, there has been a seduction of the youth globally inundated with this type of stuff, not in an educational sense, but in a way that seduces them in. I have a book here of a child's book of summoning demons, and it's made cheeky with cute characters for the demons, but they're actual teaching them how to summon.
Well, you know what? You know what the big downfall with that we've seen over the last year or two is YouTube. Because there's 11 billion child-oriented YouTube channels that, talk about, oh my God, what's that one doll? Not Annabelle, but your kids have seen it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, he's supposed to be a doll that knocks on the door and comes in, and yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, do you guys know what the most popular video game in the world right now is? It's called Phasmophobia. You are a paranormal investigator going through and investigating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Games like that have now been featured on different shows. What was that show we all got into with
Evil?
Slappy. That's
Evil.
it. It's Slappy.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, and you think back to, and it's always kind of been there. Like, it started with Goosebumps, different things like that, and like in smaller amounts.
Right.
But now it's blown up because you can't leave your house.
Too.
Right.
Like, all these kids are sitting there, they're looking for hundreds of hours per week of entertainment.
Well, and that's the thing. Being a paranormal investigator, running a paranormal team, and having young kids, they're exposed to what we do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to be interested. You know, Anthony was in kindergarten. No, he was in preschool, and he actually got the Paranormal Investigator Award from his preschool teacher because he was the paranormal expert at the age of what, 4?
4.
And it's like, yeah, well, Daddy does paranormal stuff. But getting back to tech. So, what is your favorite tech?
For me, I don't use as much as the tech of the guys. Billy, I'll mirror what he said, that it's my gut feeling. And
Right.
We were doing a case in Kentucky somewhere. The teams had been through sweeping with the equipment, but the equipment didn't pick up on something that I was kind of feeling, and it led me to a closet which had a box where they had tried to hide a makeshift voodoo doll that somebody had handmade themselves, which was part of the problems. But if I had to pick some tech that was my favorite, I like hearing EVPs that these guys capture.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what about Tanya?
I rely more on my body. If I've got too much equipment, it takes away from what I do.
Okay.
So if I have anything, it's going to be a recorder because, I mean, there's sometimes one place we walked into, it was like a lady grabbed me by the arm and she was showing me different things through the house and telling me stuff, and I would see things different in the room from what it is now. So then we had to kind of research that, which I got with Hound Dog, and we figured what it was that I was seeing. So that lady confirmed it for me. And the ET recorder would catch like answers to some of the questions, and just things when we were talking, it would interject into the conversation.
And I think that's the best thing is when you actually have a medium or an empath that coordinates between tech and the research you found. So if you find that there is a spirit, somebody died in the house named Joanne, and Joanne comes through an EVP without you telling the clients about the research you've done, but the spirit you researched for the died comes through an EVP with the same name and actually tells you through either being a medium or an empath. That's the perfect the perfect validation.
Right. But see, I'm not a person that's going to pay attention to baseboards and things like that.
Right.
You know, I walk in, I focus on the people. And to have someone else kind of take me under their wing, so to speak, when you walk into a house and they're pointing things out and making you pay attention to certain things, you know, and then I would kind of ask them about that. And then they, you know, told me, oh, yeah, that's so-and-so, you know. Mm-hmm. And they get answers in the recordings. That was awesome.
Yeah, you know, and even when you're, but every piece of equipment is, when you're walking around, we were in one house, and we go back into the bedroom, and there is a picture of mom and a dad who had passed. Mm-hmm. And you put the meter on it, and it just blows up.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and so there's all kinds, you know, the tools and everything else, and we've some of the newer stuff that we do, and the Tech Lord gets involved with. We got the 3D SLS, and that has led us into more things. We captured an orb on it that has just really led us to things. And last time I talked to Steve, we were still talking about it because of the fact that he is dissecting that in every way, because it helps us understand what is going on with an orb and what they actually are and how they can do it. And it's amazing. You know, it's so much different than the normal SLS. The only problem about it is you have to take a laptop with you that can drive so much more, because the information that you get from 3D is so massive that it takes up so much space. And even, you know, having a supercomputer, it will still slow it down and heat it up so much that you know, you're limited on your use. But the information that you grab from it really helps you in the scientific side of it, because we do also look into that. I mean, it's not all just helping the people out and everything else, because we are also trying to still find the evidence in a scientific manner.
Right.
I think we all need to do that. So.
Mm-hmm. So who left? Did Melvin leave?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So did
he left?
Finally.
So did Billy answer the question, or did Melvin answer the question earlier?
Billy.
Okay. So moving along. So we have a code of conduct. Cole will have to sit down and go over the code of conduct again, because we have to revamp it, add to it, or detract from it. I'm not sure which. We have to evaluate it. for what we're doing now. A lot of it is still going to be the same. We'll take the astral aspect out of it. But I think a code of conduct or a code of ethics for any team is important. Whether it's, and it shouldn't have to be, but it is.
More flamethrowers.
No flamethrowers?
No, more flamethrowers.
Oh, more flamethrowers. Okay. So for example, you have to make rules for the team that you don't come to any investigation drunk or on drugs. We don't disrespect spirits. Things of that nature. What do you guys think of code of conduct and ethics? Do you think it belongs in the paranormal field? And what are some of them?
I think absolutely that it has to be the person's character. That, like with our group here, we don't have a written code of ethics that I know about, but
we do have
we
one.
all
We
carry
don't.
that kind of thing with us, that kind of professionalism for the clients, and it absolutely has a place and a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does. And, we have a written code of ethics, but we've been a team so long that you don't even think about the code of ethics. We all know it. We all work as a way, as it was mentioned earlier, that, we go into a house and we know what each other is going to do. We know how we are. We don't, you're not hitting the pipe before you walk in. You're not chugging a beer or drinking 15 of them afterwards, during the investigation. You're not we're smoking outside on the outside of the house. If we're smoking, we don't want to smoke at the house. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different things that we do. We even carry, I think it's very important to have a code of ethics, but the real teams, and I think you'll agree with it, Eric, once you've been together for a long time, I think it's great for people that are looking for members of new teams and how to set up your team. But once you've been together for 5-10 years, it's and you've been in this field for a long time, we all have the same respect, or we wouldn't be together.
Right.
That's kind of the thing it is. And we even have a form. I've got a form, and we hardly ever use it because we don't have a lot of other people joining us with our team. When we have a non-member team, so if we take somebody with us, I can have them sign it and say, "This is what you're to expect, and this is the things that we're expecting out of you." But most of the people that we take with us were already in the paranormal. They're not doing something that night, and they wanted to come along with us, and we could use them in a time. And so for our team, we don't have it out there all the time, but we do have one, and I think it's so important for the other teams. And I don't know how the rest of the folks see them, but we'll let Billy and Tanya see what they say about it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You have respect for the people that you go into their house, and you give the same respect that you would want if somebody was coming into your house.
Mm-hmm. And you have to be able to trust your team.
Absolutely.
When I walk into a place, I have zero hesitation that I know Billy, and Tanya, Bear, and Melvin have my back, and I have theirs. And that kind of code of ethics is just how we live.
Right.
With either clients or with ourselves, and having that trust where you're not questioning your team member, when you have that kind of confidence in them, I think that goes a long way in the success of not only the team itself, but in the mission of where you're going.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that needs to be established in the paranormal field as a whole. But you'd be surprised how many teams I've talked to over the years that ethics? What do you need a code of conduct for? It's like, really? Wow. And that's what's wrong in this field is there is no established code of conduct that anyone, a lot of your teams don't abide by.
The same as we were talking demonology earlier.
Right.
I've studied a lot in the field for a long, long time, but I see people with that as on their profile said that they're a demonologist. And first, there's not only not a licensing board for that, but they're the ones calling up. I had one this past week asking me about a possible succubus case, and since he was a demonologist, I said, well, what do I need to clarify? Well, I don't know anything about it. Well,
right.
Yeah, how can you even get demonologist?
Then how do you know it's a succubus?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you know? And those are also the first ones that claim to be demonologists will walk into a client's home and go, "Oh my God, demons are real!" if they actually encounter one. And it's like, really? Yeah, and that's where it sounds like I'm an asshole, but I've encountered a lot of teams. I've had to clean up after a lot of teams, and after a while, you do get tired of it, obviously. And that's where you have to look at the paranormal field as a whole and go, okay, how do you fix this? And then you have, and you brought it up earlier, Barry, with paranormal unity. I think is an overused term. There is no paranormal unity.
It's an overreach. We're never going to get there.
No, you got too much ego. You got too many agendas, and
too many people
purpose.
That view it as a way to make money.
Yeah. They want to be the next one on TV, and I know you've been approached by TV shows with NightStalkers. We were offered a slot on a TV show that we were supposed to send an application in for. We never did. We were like, no, screw that. And then you got the shows that call you and say, "Do you have clients to send us?" "No, I don't." "I'll speak for them now." "No, I don't."
I still say if that comes up again, you send them to me.
Okay.
I'll mess with a producer for a couple hours. I got nothing else to do.
Yeah. Some of the times, and that's one of the hard things, people don't really know. I mean, they're looking for that TV show, and they don't understand what you give up. You give up everything. And the next thing you know, you're doing and you're saying things that you may not really want to believe. I mean, we don't do a show because of the fact that you're going to have control over it. You have to have something, because you're not going to get me to say something that I don't believe in. I don't think that Casey's going to say anything that he doesn't believe. Neither is Billy or Tanya, and neither is Melvin. We are this way. We love to work on documentaries and do that kind of stuff with people. We enjoy doing that and helping them out and going over the history of a place and stuff like that. But as far as film crews and everything else, it takes forever. These people will call you up and they will just drive you insane. "Oh, send us this, and we want to do an interview with you, and we want to do another interview, and can you send us these things?" And so many times, 3, 6, 8 months go by, and then all of a sudden they say, "We need you Tuesday at 1:00.
Right.
And I can't be there. "What, you don't want to be on TV?" No. And we've had, Casey's been on TV. He's dealt with other channels. So I think you just did one for the Travel Channel, didn't you, Casey?
It Feels Evil for the Travel Channel, and as far as the experience, the team I worked with were great people. The film crew, great people. The network stuff, that was all above my head. I just show up and do my part. And I was happy to be there with those guys. And that's the same. I've never cared anything about any of it, that it was coming in from the pastoral side that crosses over because people have paranormal experiences or things they don't understand.
And real quick, so Casey, we have a question for you coming in from Joe in the chat room. And I'm going to add to that a little bit. So we're playing a horror movie with demons in it. And I'm going to add to that, because I've been asked this many times, and I want your opinion on it. But, people ask, will watching these paranormal TV shows bring in paranormal activity? And so with Joe's question, will playing a horror movie with demons in a location ramp up the activity there? What's your thoughts?
Ramp up activity like in the person's home?
Yeah.
It can. It's not necessarily that the movies themselves are cursed. I have heard of cursed movies, but for the average paranormal thing,
right,
or a movie or a show, where the danger comes in about the home is that becomes a fixation in the mind, and it kind of opens that person up a little bit further than they were. So the possibility is never zero, but for the most part, I've found most of the shows kind of innocuous in that, but not at a zero because any kind of energy that you put out, when you think about this, any kind of energy that you take in and put out in your universe will create the universe around you. So people that become obsessed with the shows, they're more likely to have that type of activity pop up.
All right. Great answer.
And I agree with that 100% because it's always strange, and we've been in homes before that as soon as you go there, and not knocking your favorite person by any means, but
you walk in the door and guess what's on TV?
Yeah, you walk in the door and it's a 24-hour, 27-minute, 27 7 days a week, 24/7 paranormal show.
He don't math.
Yeah, and it's Ghost Adventure.
Yeah.
And believe me, that will cause some activity in your home.
I'm having nightmares.
Yeah. I think I'm possessed.
Or repossessed.
Yes. But it's crazy. But yeah, it's in the person's mind. It's how they get it in, and it brings more to it. And I think that in some cases, I think that it may be part of it.
I think that like attracts like.
Exactly. If you're open to it, you're going to, and you start thinking more about it, and you're always looking for it. Guess what? It comes along the road, doesn't it? Because there are several things out there that are looking for a home.
Joe, really? Seriously?
Pointy Stick Joe? Hey,
yeah.
Pointy Stick Joe, he's in the chat room. So does Zach Baggins bring spirits with him when he goes to investigate a location? I'm going to say this, Joe. Zach Baggins is not real. He's not an investigator.
Okay. Zach Baggins is real.
Is probably a real person.
Yeah, you can't say he's not real. But is it not a possibility with the amount of items that he has been buying that he has something with him?
He could, but oh my God, his show is so.
His show sucks. I agree. Your wife is wondering what you're saying too. But the thing is, the guy has so much money now.
Yeah,
he is buying up everything on the market that he can.
He's buying up haunted locations.
Are we saying
not
that
just
he
locations,
bought himself something that he takes with him to every location, so that there is definitely a haunting there when he gets there?
No, but the guy bought Dybbuk boxes.
Yeah, that's true.
Things like that. He might be dumb enough to open one of those.
Oh, I'm sure. I have no doubt.
And it's not like it stayed in the room that he opened it in.
Oh, man.
To answer Joe's question, the show that we're talking about for the Travel Channel, It Feels Evil, what I thought I was going to do was a girl that needed an exorcism. So drove all the way to Cleveland to the House of Wills, a notorious haunted place. And it ended up that one of the investigators of the team was the one that needed the help. And you can see it in the limited run show that we had to pray over him because of his constant dealings, and he's one that would do the method where you close off your eyes and ears. He would use Ouija boards, so he did become possessed through and carried it with him to different events. That any person in a home, any investigator can have something with them that they bring in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because with our team, the standing joke is when Father Casey gets close to me, he goes, "No blessings for a month."
Right.
You brought that on yourself, Mister.
Yeah, so Joe's saying, so forget Jack, can any investigator bring attachments or spirits with them to another location? Absolutely. Especially if you're not using protection, especially if you're not, monitoring your team. Yes, spirits can follow you. And they can follow you from one location to another. Attachments can attach you, and, they're usually somewhat obvious. Between the pain and the personality changes, but yes, they can follow you.
Yeah, and I would like to add for Joe that also different cases can have the same demon because in this vocation, we working with them get to know the demonic, and they also get to know us. So a case can be in Ohio and followed up by a case in Arkansas, and that same demon is in Arkansas and knows the priest or the team by name.
Yeah,
right.
We refer to that as being marked.
Yeah, that's what we call marked, and it happens quite a lot because you go in and they already know who we are, or they'll ask for us by name.
They'll try to stop us before we get there.
Right. That's some of the weird stuff that happens in the paranormal. Don't trust your GPS. I mean,
no, you want to go down this highway. Yeah, absolutely.
Believe me,
it takes you an hour to get to a location that's 20 minutes away from you.
Right? No, that's just aliens. That's aliens doing that.
I will say, for Joe's question, that does also lead back into the ethics portion where, you have to be careful with your teammates because every once in a while you will get one that will leave themselves vulnerable in order to collect an attachment.
Oh, we've had that happen.
Yes.
We've also had it happen, like Izzy just said in the chat room, we actually had a guy that was handling a case under the FMP name, which we quickly removed once we found out about him, and he was leaving objects in the client's home so that she had to call him back.
Oh, that's not good.
That's creepy and stalkerish. Like that, even though he was doing it for money.
Right.
Was he just doing it for money?
Pretty much. He took $800 from the client, which he wound up, after I called him out and removed him from the team immediately and told him to pay the client back. Yes, he gave her all of her money back, but yeah. No. Yeah, and that's where ethics code of conduct does come in.
Yeah.
And so, knowing your team aside, you don't always know everything about everyone on your team. When you just, some people have another side to them, and that's where having a code of conduct that every team member signs makes it really easy to remove them. Because the minute they violate a code of conduct, you have a legal aspect of saying you violated this code, bye, you're gone. You have no legal recourse if they tried to come back at you. Mm-hmm. So, moving along.
I think that, that's one of the things about having large teams and having the things that you have, and when you get to that size, working with a small team and doing as much as we do,
right,
and being as busy as we are, that's that's the easy part about it, because we do know each other so darn well. And every once in a while, and it's easy to do. I get stupid every once in a while, and I might say, "Go ahead and touch me." I don't do that anymore.
Right. And honestly, that's why.
Back to the Walmart.
Yeah.
and that's absolutely why Cole and I are going to go over applications. We are going to do interviews. They are going to come on the show, so we can actually interview them on the show as well before they're even a team member. We don't have time for personality conflicts. We don't have time for bullshitters.
Plus, we're married. We're not allowed to tell people to touch us.
Right?
Go for it.
So, no, absolutely. When you have a smaller team, you do get to know each other a lot better. Compared to a team that's spread out, a team that is astral, a team that has members around the globe, you don't get that chance to actually read people, because reading personalities makes it a lot easier to know whether they're full of it or not.
Right.
100% right. 100% right.
So, which is your favorite cryptid, and how do you guys define cryptids? We talk cryptids. We hear about Dogman. We hear about Bigfoot. Some call them Sasquatch. You have Chupacabras. You have Mothman. You have Goatman. What's your favorite cryptid, and how do you guys define cryptids?
Cryptid to me, and I'll take this, and I think you know what cryptid is. We don't. We will say cryptid sometimes, but I always call them strange creatures, because they are different than what they are. So anything strange or bizarre, because there are different kinds of things. Because you put rakes, you put here in Kentucky, you get the little alien type beings that are running around that were at Kelly, Kentucky. You've got other types of things that are out there. You have a Bigfoot. I'll swear to you, and I think some of the team will tell you the same thing, that there's like some kind of hyena type creature that's roaming around.
Right.
Out there.
Cattle and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
down here too.
Yeah, and it's very strange. So we don't really, I love Bigfoot. Bigfoot's great, but everything is different, and you're always looking for something new, and that's what we call strange creatures. Because if you've got something in your backyard that you don't know, then give us a call, because we'd love to come down and be able to take a look at it and be able to see it. And a lot of times when you're on a paranormal investigation, and you're also doing, sometimes it's not always in the house, you've got to get out and look at the property too, because there are things on the property that can come into a house, especially if it's been invited in, or sometimes people don't even know it's been invited in. We see some pretty weird stuff. So I think it's all about whatever. I'll let anybody else add to it, but and of course the rakes and that kind of stuff are out here. And when you talk about 411 and you look at everything that's around Kentucky and the amount of missing people and the cave systems and all that, we don't, look, we're right on top of Mammoth Cave. So,
right.
And over as large as Mammoth Cave is, what is it, like 10% of 300 miles of the cave system may have been done in one area? Mm-hmm. And it goes for thousands and thousands of miles, and it intersects into other caves and everything else. And good gosh, who knows what's down there?
Mm-hmm.
Steve.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that I want to do here once all this COVID is over with and everything else. I'd love to come down there. I have a soft spot for cryptids. They're my favorite thing to go and check out and try to find and see. And I'd love to get down to Kentucky and check it out.
You just want to find a rake.
I do.
Yeah. And one of the weird things about... some of the weird things about this area is that I think there's so many things that are unexplained, and there are things here that are old, ancient, and they come up out of the ground every once in a while. Whether it's spiritual, whether it is multidimensional, because we also see and hear the Wendigo, the stuff that deals with the shaman type stuff, the Manitou, those type of things are out there, and that's also considered in my book a strange creature because they shapeshift.
Right. So, what is your favorite paranormal TV show? And I say that because personally for me, it was always Supernatural, the first 3 seasons. Because the first 3 seasons, they actually did do paranormal investigation with weird stuff. My other one was always X-Files, because X-Files is a lot of it based on actual fact. So those are my 2. Do you guys have any... and I say paranormal TV show loosely, because when you say paranormal TV show, you think Ghost Adventures and that kind of crap. I don't see them as...
So are we just saying anything to do with the supernatural?
Yeah. So what would your favorite shows be? If you have any.
I'll let you guys take it away from there.
Mine was always X-Files.
Okay. I'm totally on board with that because, they covered a lot of different stuff. Not just aliens, but the aliens were always really interesting because the black goo, like we talked about last week, was, part of the X-Files. It was an alien.
Led in different directions.
Huh?
It would always seem like it turned and led into different directions.
Oh, yeah,
In the very
absolutely.
beginning, when it first started out, before it went all alien.
And Izzy's in the chat room. She said Evil, and I agree with that. Evil was really interesting. That was an interesting show.
Mine was The Haunting of Hill House.
Huh?
Mine was The Haunting of Hill House.
I haven't seen that one yet, I don't
and
think.
It's only because of one scene. In one scene, I am not a person that scares. I am not a person that jump scares. But one scene of that show had me off the couch and ready to run out of my house.
So I got a clarification here. Joe was talking about a new Bigfoot show, and I haven't seen it yet. I haven't even heard about a new Bigfoot show.
Do you know which one
The Entity.
The Entity.
The Entity. I think I've seen that.
Yes.
I think. I'll have to look it up again.
Sorry. What was that?
70s. I think it came out in the 70s.
Okay.
But yeah, you have to watch The Entity. That was really good because it was based on factual evidence.
Yeah, The Entity was a good movie. I mean, it's a good show. But I don't know. I don't watch hardly any paranormal shows. I do watch. I think the new one is Exploring Bigfoot. Is that the name of it, Joe?
Expedition.
No,
Expedition
Bigfoot is what Joe said it's called. So I'll have to look that up and see how valid it is. And
I did watch it. He even Facebooked me and asked me to watch it, and I did watch it, and I fell asleep during it.
Right. No, that was what was that show we fell asleep on?
It's right in Barry's backyard.
Yeah.
Starts with an H.
What was the name of that?
But the X-Files always kept me going. Back in the old days, watching The Crypt Keeper, those kind of things, those kind of shows. I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But always watching Ancient Aliens or something in that realm.
Hell yeah, that's it.
I love the new Unexplained on the History Channel. It's taken another turn, and it's very interesting. They bring back some interesting cases. They do some stuff that is, especially as they're searching for old stories as far as John Wilkes Booth, and is he actually the person that did he live? Did he do those kind of things? I like that kind of stuff. I like the history type stuff.
Oh, Barry, you got to check out Expedition Bigfoot, because apparently it's in Kentucky.
Next.
It is in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. You already knew about that.
And that is one of the things that, and they have an area that they're doing, and it's actually in the Cumberland Gap area. It's over in that area, and it's close to the area where that other show that I won't give credence to was shot with the little beings that were roaming around. It was made into a series by a ghost hunter who really took it into synchronicities and everything else. But
two that me and Kayla have always enjoyed that most people wouldn't consider paranormal, but I honestly would, just because of the way the plot of each episode works.
Right.
Is Warehouse 13 and The Librarians.
Oh, I love and I love both of those as well.
Okay, I gotta be honest, and you guys are gonna go, sure. I love the concept of Grimm.
I haven't seen Grimm.
I watched that.
I love the concept of it. I think that it's kind of a cool concept. And my all-time favorite, I guess you would say it was paranormal. It's Touched by an Angel. I gotta be honest.
Touched by an Angel?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Case? I'd love to know what you're...
I don't watch much of the paranormal television at all, but I liked Constantine, the series.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
The Right, something that gets me focused back in the game. But as far as the TV shows, I've watched a few episodes of my cousin's show, the Haunted Asylum or whatever. But it's not a normal thing on my TV. I'd much rather watch Ancient Aliens or Templar stuff. The X-Files is always big. Twilight Zone. Yeah, those.
Right. Okay.
And you gotta give it up to Star Trek and Doctor Who. I mean, you gotta throw those guys in there, man.
Exterminate.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Billy?
I like documentaries more so, but if I had to pick a television show, I'd probably go with Josh Gates and anything that he's doing, because he's like a modern day Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he delves in all of it, but
he brings a lot of history into it.
He brings the history into it, and for me, with him, it's about the adventure.
Yeah, it is, and I also like Josh Gates. Those are anything that is along expedition.
And you can fact check it.
Right. That's not
right.
About fast check.
So we're coming down to about the last 10 minutes of the show, and real quick, so I do want to go back, if you could all introduce yourselves again and what you do on the team. Casey, go ahead.
Father Casey, I help the team in any way I possibly can. Bring in the eclectic view of spirituality from different cultures with a focus of helping the client through counseling, through prayer or ritual. That's what I do for the team, and I have my own ministry that I work with the Diocese of the South and am the exorcist, one of 2 exorcists for them.
Okay, and Billy.
Yeah, I'm Billy Sims. I'm just me, man. I'm trying to do the right thing. Anything I do spiritual wise, it's not me. I'm just the vessel that I'm the tool that's used in that time. My main goal and intent is to help.
Perfect.
Perfect. And Tanya?
I'm Tanya Frazier, empath, psychic. I try to help the clients understand what's going on and get some insight and go with it, understanding what I'm seeing versus what Melvin gets from the history. So, to clarify things, and we all work together to help them understand, cleanse, do whatever we need to do to help the client.
Excellent, thank you. And Barry, who we missed, and I know Melvin is your researcher and also another investigator.
Yes, and Steve Miller, who is our wonderful tech lord and investigator also, and has been doing it for a long time. We really, if we have questions on a lot of stuff, we will run it by him again. If we hear something strange on the EVP, we want him to take a look at it. He is working with different aspects. We talk about some types of equipment that we may like to try and use. And he's the man that goes to that. He also handles the website and everything else. So when we do those kind of things, he's a busy guy. He's always got his hand in several different things. Yeah, that's the team. I'm the guy that just sits on the floor and just goes, take it away, people.
Yeah,
well, I see you also as the essentially the case manager as well, Barry.
We also, I kind of use yes and no. Melvin has that responsibility as a case manager because he'll take a lot of calls and does a lot of things. We all do. All things in. As Casey may have some things that he needs to have someone go look at, and we do that also. Billy, Tanya, all of us all have contacts and people that we deal with, and we all want to help. And that's the biggest part about this team is that we understand that the paranormal is the paranormal. You never know what you're going to get.
Right.
And nobody knows it all. And we're out to help other individuals. And we're all very spiritual. We do move things. And like Billy says, we don't take the credit for anything that we do. It is all given to us to do. We're just the vessel for it. Whatever happens, it moves through us in a way. And that's the most important part, and it becomes a very gratifying thing. But we do not take credit for it. We give that credit to other things and other things that work through us and help us along the way.
Excellent. So I do want to formally welcome you guys to the Forest Moon Paranormal Team Alliance. You guys are a very valid team. You guys do great work, and you're the kind of teams we're looking for to work with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that greatly, and like I said, we want to work with others, and we'll help out in any way that we can do. And I even Father Casey is that kind of man that is always available 24/7, even though he's got a bum leg right now.
And that happens.
Yeah, he is the. I'm normally the cripple in the group, but he's the cripple right now.
So how do folks find Forest Moon? Not Forest Moon. I'm losing my mind here. The NightStalkers Paranormal. How do they find you?
You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Into the Far. We talk about. We've done a few shows on Into the Far with some crazy two people that host that show. We also have a website, NightStalkers Paranormal.com, and there's a lot of ways you can find us, and you can find us all individually because even though that we are a team, and we bounce through everything. So our Facebook page is everything. So
excellent.
Please communicate to us, or if you need us, we're here for you. And I think that everybody in this team would say the same thing.
Yeah. All right. Before we get out of here, guys, Kayla.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's going on right now with you?
What's going on with me? Just started our own business. So we are open to the public now. If you need anybody to do your tax returns this year, please come over to Red Rover in Cedar Woolley, Washington.
You can find her on Facebook. Or on the website, redrovertaxservice.com.
And they do have a portal, so it really doesn't matter where you are in the United States. They can do your taxes through their portal. You just scan the documents. They do your taxes for you. And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you do taxes of the guys on the ISS?
Oh, God.
Like, only if they're floating over the U.S. at that point? All right.
Oh.
And who do we have coming on to Into the Fire this week, Barry?
This week we have Chris Garcia. He is a psychic, and he's actually going to do some readings for our listeners and in our chat room. So we're looking forward to having Chris on and going from there.
Perfect.
All right.
And thank you for the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right. So again, you can find Forest Moon Paranormal on Facebook. Just look for the group. Jump into the group. Our next, when we can get them on, our next team that we will be interviewing is the Paranormal Road Trippers with Mike Morin. And again, if you have a team you want us to interview and you want to join the Forest Moon Paranormal Team Alliance, get a hold of us.
Next week is our monthly roundtable. We will have Barry on with us again, of course, and we will have Joe Allgaier, and as well as
you stuck with football,
right?
agent,
as well as Arnold Hampton.
Yep.
So
yep.
It's going to be a good week. I got lots of questions for you guys, so get ready.
We're ready.
Oh
God.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So you folks have a really safe week this week. It's going to be a crazy week. It's going to be a crazy next 2 weeks in this nation. So stay safe, stay vigilant, and remember, keep your eyes to the skies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.